Hello and welcome to this video, which will go through how you can perform a database search using keywords and synonyms and subject headings. If you are going to use subject headings, you do need to search each database separately, and this is because subject headings are part of a controlled vocabulary that is specific to each and every database. So a subject heading that you find on Medline might not exist on Synal, or it might be known by a different name. So I'm on Medline. The research question that I am investigating is looking at the effects of aquatic therapy on the chronic pain in patients with fibromyalgia. So you can start with any keyword. It doesn't matter which keyword you start with, it's not going to affect the overall results. So I'm going to start with fibromyalgia. So we have a list of synonyms here. I'm going to select title and abstract, so it's going to search in either the title or the abstract for some mention of fibromyalgia or its related terms. And then in the second box, I'm going to click on or, and then I'm going to scroll down and click on Medline Mesh 2025. So subject headings on Medline are called mesh headings or mesh. And now I'm going to type in fibromyalgia into this search bar. So as we can see, we've got a few different results appearing. So we have fibromyalgia here. It also says secondary fibromyalgia, primary fibromyalgia, use fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia is the subject heading or the mesh heading on Medline that we can use. If you wanted to double check the meaning of any of these subject headings before you select them and include them in your search, click on the entry and it will give you a definition of that particular term. It will also tell you if you're interested in any of these other terms, fibromyalgia is the mesh heading that you should be using on Medline to search for any of these particular terms. And if we look at the bottom, we can see there is a related subject heading called fatigue syndrome chronic. So again, if you wanted to see whether that would be useful, you can click on this, and once again, it's going to give you a definition and how this particular subject heading is used for lots of other different terms as well. So if I'm happy with that definition of that term, I am going to tick this box. And now you can either decide to leave it ticked here, or you can tick the major concept box. So if you tick the major concept box, this means that the papers that you retrieve, the content coverage of those papers should have a main focus on fibromyalgia. If you don't tick major concept and you leave it ticked on the left-hand side, this will perform a standard subject heading search, whereby the database will search in the major and the minor subject headings for a mention of this term. So that means you will potentially get more results by doing a standard subject heading search, but not all of those papers will have a predominant focus on fibromyalgia. So really it's up to you to decide how big or how small you want your search to be. In addition to this, we also have sometimes an option to explode. So we don't have the option to explode this term, but I can show you that in a little while. So I might decide to major it. I'm going to add this to my search. And now if we have a look, we can see our top box are our keyword synonym search, and our second box is our major subject heading search for fibromyalgia. And we're just going to click on search. So if we go back to our home page, clear all, we can now perform our second keyword search, which is aquatic therapy. Again, you might want to use some search techniques here, so phrase searching or truncation. I'm going to click on or, and then I'm going to go to Medline, mesh, and I'm going to search for our first keyword, which is aquatic therapy, and see what comes up. So we can see if you were using the terms aquatic exercise or exercise therapy aquatic, it's telling us that we need to use aquatic therapy. Once again, you can click on that term just to double check that you're happy with that definition. And we have another related heading here. So again, if you wanted to double check on this, it will give you a definition. It's very important to read the definition because sometimes it will give you directional information. So here we can see that it says it includes not only bathing in, but also drinking the waters, but it does not include whirlpool baths. So if you were interested in looking at whirlpool baths, it's telling you actually maybe you should be using hydrotherapy instead. So we're not interested in drinking the waters, so I'm not going to use this term. But we could select aquatic therapy. So again, I'm happy to major this. I can add this to search. I might also want to have a little search for hydrotherapy as well, because I might be interested in the effects of whirlpool baths. And now we can see that we do have the option to explode this search. So explode usually denotes that this entry is an umbrella term that encompasses lots of different smaller subject headings beneath it. So if I just click on hydrotherapy and I scroll down, we can see that if I explode hydrotherapy, it will search for aquatic therapy and it will search for therapeutic irrigation. So if I click on therapeutic irrigation, personally, I don't think that's necessarily what I'm interested in, so I wouldn't search for that particular topic. Therefore, I wouldn't explode that term. I'm happy with aquatic therapy, so the option I have here then is to either perform a standard subject heading search on hydrotherapy, where it looks at both the major and the minor subject headings, or I can just major that concept. What I don't want to do is explode it, because if I do, it will search for aquatic therapy and therapeutic irrigation, which is something that I'm not interested in. So I'm happy with doing a major concept search on this. I'm going to add this to my search as well, and just make sure that you're turning the Boolean command to or, so you're searching for multiple subject headings along with your keyword synonym search. And we do a search. Finally, we will look at pain. So I might specifically be looking at chronic pain or long-term pain. So we have chronic pain here. Just going to double check that I'm happy with that particular term. And again, it tells us here that it's also used for widespread chronic pain, secondary pain, chronic, which I'm happy with. I think that's relevant. We can perform a major one, add to search. I might also just have a look to see if we've got long-term pain. It might not come up, but that's absolutely fine. Nope, it's not really finding anything there. Let me try another way of searching it. Term begins with nope. And it's absolutely fine if there is no subject heading for a particular term. No. So clearly chronic pain is the one that we need to use, and we've already selected it. So I'm happy with these. I'm just going to make sure that this is title and abstract, and we've got or. We'll do a search. Then we go to recent activity. Click on the cross to clear that top search bar. and then we're going to combine each of our search lines together using combine with and, because we want the database to hopefully find papers mentioning fibromyalgia either as a keyword or as a subject heading, aquatic therapy either as a keyword or a subject heading, and pain either as a keyword or a subject heading. Then we're going to click on the search symbol. We've got it down to 118, and then we're just going to apply some filters. So peer-reviewed to make sure it's gone through that quality check stage, and a panel of professionals within that area have approved it for publication. English language and a publication date. I'm just going to select the past 5 years. Apply. And now we have a nice total of 36 results. So I hope you found this video useful, and thank you very much for watching.